Green Days by the River is a novel that tells the story of a boy on the verge of adulthood. The novel is intended for an adolescent audience. Author Michael Anthony presents the story of Shell, a 15-year-old boy who moves to a new village in Trinidad and becomes involved with two different girls, Joan and Rosalie. Because of Shell's father's terminal illness, he is forced to grow up very quickly by marrying one of the girls through the coercion of her father, Mr. Gidhuri, the most influential man in the village. When Mr. Gidhuri finds out that Shell has fooled around with his daughter, he forces Shell to choose duty over love to save the reputation of his beloved daughter. In 1979, Michael Anthony was awarded the Hummingbird Gold Medal for his contributions to literature, and he received an honorary doctorate degree from the University of West Indies in 2003. A Long Way Gone, Memoirs of a Boy Soldier, narrates the true story of Ishmael, a boy who was forced to become a soldier during the Sierra Leone Civil War. The intended audience is adolescents. After his home village is attacked, he is forced to wander around to different villages looking for food and shelter along with some friends. He ultimately is forced to do horrible things, including killing people, and becomes brainwashed into thinking these acts will avenge his family's death. Eventually, Ishmael is directed to a rehabilitation camp under the control of UNICEF, and finally to the United States, where he lives now and writes this novel. A Long Way Gone was nominated for a Quill Award in the Best Debut Author category for 2006.
Becca Lamb by Z. Edgell is a story written for an adolescent audience about a young girl growing up in 1950s Belize. Becca, the main character, is 14 years old and is struggling to find her place in the strict social settings of her hometown. The story is told using flashbacks in which Becca attempts to keep awake for her deceased friend in her heart. Becca has a problem with lying and vows to stop, which she recalls changed her life the moment she decided to stop. She is failing out of school and is having many fights with her parents, though she does have a loving relationship with them. Becca gains her self-confidence after winning an essay contest in school. Edgell was made a member of the Order of the British Empire in the 2007 Queen's Birthday Honor List. In 2009, the University of the West Indies conferred upon her the honorary degree Dr. Lit at graduation ceremonies in Cave Hill, Barbados.
Walter Mosley wrote 47 with an adolescent audience in mind and can be considered science fiction because of the supernatural elements as well as biblical and historical allegories. The story is of a young boy who is a slave in the American South who goes by the number 47 for a name. As he labors on the plantation, a mysterious man named Tall John appears and 47 immediately connects with him. Tall John tells 47 that he is finally glad he found them and that he is a boy with a mission. Tall John is able to help some of the slaves on the plantation while showing the reader the good and evil that man is capable of. The story keeps the reader wondering about all the souls lost during that time and whether they are still wandering the earth. Walter Mosley has won numerous awards. Some of these include the Ansfield Wolf Award for works that increase the appreciation and understanding of race in America. 2005, he won the Risk Taker Award from the Sundance Institute for both his creative and activist efforts. In 2006, he was the first recipient of the Carl Brendan Society Palarax Award for his young adult novel 47, and in 2013, he was inducted into the New York Writers Hall of Fame. Under the Feet of Jesus is a novel written by Elena Maria Viramontes for an adolescent audience. It follows a group of Chicano migrant farm workers as they moved through California, trying to survive working in the poor conditions and receiving low wages. The narrative is voiced by the main character Estrella, who is a teenager. She travels around with a group picking up work wherever she and the group can find it, usually picking grapes or on other fruit farms. Some family members are caught in the field one night when they are spraying pesticides, one of which becomes very sick, yet the family cannot even afford the gas to take the boy to the hospital. They eventually get him there, and the novel ends with Estrella on top of an old barn on the farm where her family has a shack. The theme that is explored in the novel is how people can be in the middle of extremes in life, be on the verge of insanity, yet staying sane in order to survive. It is a poignant look at the life of the migrant farm worker and is dedicated to Cesar Chavez. Viramontes has been honored and received awards for this and other works, but especially for her portrayals of feminism and the plight of the migrant worker, for which she draws from her own parents' experience. Under the Feet of Jesus was named a New Voices Quality paperback book in 1995 and a finalist in Discovery Great New Writers a year later in 1996. Tree Girl by Ben Michelson is based on the true story of a young girl and is intended for an adolescent audience. Tree Girl is about a Guatemalan girl as she lives through the Mayan genocide during the Guatemalan Civil War from 1960 to 1966. After being witness to rape and murder while she was up in a tree, where she always went, she decides to go down to the earth and make her way to the Mexican border along with many other refugees. Gabby tries not to lose hope as she travels north looking for her sister, even though she is put in many life-threatening situations, such as threats of violence from soldiers, hunger, and thirst. This search for safety becomes the search for herself. Ben Michelson is the winner of the International Reading Association Award and the Western Writers of America Spur Award. His novels have been nominated for and won many state Reader's Choice Awards, one being Tree. These 6 coming-of-age tales highlight the importance of self-identity and the hardships of youth trying to find themselves. The characters within the novels struggle to find themselves just like our students do. With the use of multicultural literature, the students will be able to see themselves within the books, know that they are less alone in this very large world, and use personal experiences to help and urge them to drive forward their own understanding.